Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys? I get the thumbs up.
Doing good.
There you go. All right. Nice to see you this morning. Rick is joining us, but I think he's running just a hair late. So let's go ahead and jump in. The numbers. Fulton County, 383 active listings this morning. Do you think everybody took their house off the market before Thanksgiving? Because that's a drastic difference. Anytime there's a holiday, it skews the numbers. I'm guessing people just took their house off the market for the holidays and might put it back on tomorrow, today, December 1st. I'm not overly concerned about it, but certainly a drastic difference in active inventory. Active under contract, 21, drastic difference. 171 in the pending, drastic difference. It just looks like a holiday week, guys. So certainly not crazy exciting stats. Is it something to be concerned about? I don't think so at all. I think it just had to do with the holiday week, and we'll see similar numbers that third week in December as well. All right, let's get DeKalb up here, and let me get all this stuff out of the way. And there we go. All right, so DeKalb has 238 active inventory, which is considerably down from 358. 44 active under contract, 105 on the pending side, and 61 on the closed side. Same deal, holiday week, big drop in numbers, not something to be concerned about. There's an explanation behind it. If I run out to Cobb County, I think we're going to probably see some of the similar numbers. And same thing, 183 on the active inventory, down from 392, 49 active under contract, 113 pending, 71 closed compared to mid 143 to 172. That's a big drop. Holiday week. So I would just chalk it up to that, and say hang tight. Let's see what the week brings. I would venture to say most people are going to bring their properties onto the market next week or this week or next week. But just remember this week, when we get to that third week in December, you're going to see the same results. However, the opposite of that commentary is these people are super motivated. These people were motivated. These people are motivated to buy and sell houses. So during holiday weeks like this, if you find people really looking, they're probably more motivated than normal because they're out looking. So any thoughts, experience around what we're talking about here? Comments? Somebody talk to me.
I mean, it looks pretty seasonal to me. It's just the reality of the real estate cycle.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, it's not cause for concern in my mind. I mean, the thing, Hubert, is we know the market's down. However, it's coming back. And one of the things we're going to talk about are mortgage interest rates here in just a second. And it feels like there's a renewed energy of optimism that's coming to the market that we haven't had in a while. And yet I'm not seeing that in the numbers yet. But I think it just had to do with the Thanksgiving holiday week, right? Like most people traveled. It's a big travel weekend. They don't want their houses shown during that holiday season. It all makes sense to me. All right. So one of the websites that I track is mortgagenewsdaily.com. And this is a live get off there. This is a live picture of what mortgage rates are doing. And there's two websites, there's Bankrate and this Mortgage News Daily, that are kind of the trusted source of what's going on in mortgages. There are sixes on this page. We've talked about that. In the 15-year fixed, the 30-year FHA is almost 6.5. So what's the loan limit of FHA in our city?
684. I think
654?
684. I don't know. That's what I think it is.
592, 250, right? So if somebody's buying a house up to $592,000, they absolutely could get an FHA loan and pay a 6.65% interest rate. Now, here is fallacy. How much do you have to put down on an FHA loan?
3.5%.
Can you put 20% down?
Yeah.
So I could put 20% down on an FHA loan and get a 6.65% interest rate. Or I could put 20% down on a conventional and get a 7.3. It's just conversation, right?
Mhm.
So the reality is there's starting to become some opportunity out there. Now, the listing agents don't like FHA because of the extra requirements and stuff like that. But the truth is that's not too shabby and not too far off that 6.5% that I think is a mental number everybody's holding out for. So it's a pretty big deal. It's actually cheaper than a 5/1 ARM right now. So 15-year fix, 6.7. I mean, that's a decent rate right now, and it should spur some buying. I think the big deal though is when this 30-year gets below a 7, people are going to get excited. I think they should be excited now. It's one of the largest rate drops we've had in a long time. Yet they won't get excited till there's a 6 on that number. But the truth is, you've got 6 options already. Make sense? Rick, what's your thoughts on the rates?
I think it's phenomenal news because it also triggered the confidence that, the Fed's going to hold off potentially on increases. And then, typically things operate in like waves or flow. And so the flow appears to be going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And to your point, to see a 6, I got excited when I first saw it and thought that's kind of funny that I'm excited about a 6, but it just illustrates the point I'm sure you were making, that it's the psychology of where we are versus reality and not where we've been. And we've been, we're far enough away from where we've been, where rates were 3 or lower sometimes. So I think that's the new norm, and the fact that it's headed in the right direction. Positive news is an awesome spin. And I think most people think, maybe in the next, 3 to 5 years, so, it's going to drop and you can refinance. So it's still not a permanent decision, even though it sounds like it when you lock down a 15 or 30 year.
Yeah. I think an interesting conversation would be if I was buying let's just say $500,000 house, how much more house could I buy today compared to what it was in the summer? With that drop in rate, I bet you the affordability is coming up because those rates were pushing 8% not 3 months ago. So the affordability is coming up, which is a good thing, and we just got to be able to talk about it, if that makes sense. So I would encourage you just to keep an eye on mortgage rates. Obviously, your lender of choice is your best resource, but if you're just Googling, I use Mortgage News Daily or Bankrate. And like here, let's just pull up Bankrate and see what they say. Remember, mortgage rates change by they change by region of the country, right? So this bank rate shows what different companies are offering right now, but 30-year fixed at 6.374. That's kind of unheard of. I don't know where that's coming from, but these
Yeah, the only
obviously are not averages. Here's the average. 7.7.
there you go.
Make sense? Now, your customer is probably wanting to shop rates right now more than ever. How are you handling that? What's the dialogue? What you got here?
I mean, I just encourage them to, compare and make sure that they're comfortable, with the lender of their choice when it comes to mortgage rates. I encourage it. At the same time, have to be cognizant that rates change each and every day.
Yeah. I think one of the conversations I would have is if Hubert, if you were my buyer, say, I definitely think you should be cognizant of interest rates, but I'm going to caution you the cheapest rate comes without wise counsel. And wise counsel pays off in the end when it comes to refinance, when it comes to positioning the product to best serve you over the next 3, 5, 10 years of your life. And sometimes wise counsel may not have the cheapest rate, but is actually the smartest decision to make. So be cautious of using an internet lender that comes with zero counsel just to get a low rate, because you could actually end up hurting your position on a sale in the future or hurting your position on a refinance in the future when rates actually do come down. So make sure it's not just rate, it's rate plus wise counsel.
And reliability, Brett. And I do business with people, not companies, like most people. And the person you're in business with matters. And if there's not a person you can go drive to their office and meet with them, there's liability attached. I remember sitting at a day of closing for 4 or 5 straight hours, hoping and praying that Lending Tree or whoever it was online somebody would pick up the phone. I mean, literally, we could not get a representative day of closing, and it failed. And so it's not worth the risk reward, and make sure you're analyzing apples to apples and that you read between the lines when it comes to fees and other, terms and steps, because not all loans are created equal. Even though the printed or published rate may look attractive, there may be an underbelly or risk attached. And then again, if things get squirrely and something changes, I want to be able to call not only my local lender, but, potentially the VP of, the local office and all the way up to the president, because people make things happen.
Yeah. And underwriting's a big part of it, right? Like if you go to the internet lender, you're just put into the system. If you go to a wise counsel, there's an actual person on the other end of that phone they can call,
So
so
they know how to massage deals to make sure that you fit inside the box.
100%.
I mean, just being perfectly transparent.
So I want to take this conversation somewhere else, but before we do, is there any questions around that? Because I think I think people are shopping rates more than ever right now. And I actually am watching it hurt some real estate agents' business because clients are getting hung up with lenders they wouldn't normally use. Questions, comments, thoughts?
I definitely think like customer or consumer experience is part of the process in buying. And that's one thing I tell my clients, I can get you to the closing table. At the same time, who you choose as your lender, they're really going to enhance or really impact negatively or positively your experience. And so it's really important that you have confidence in your lender, your loan officer, because when the rubber meets the road and we need to make some action or take some action, customer experience is going to be really important in your overall home buying experience. And so choose a lender who we can definitely get to the closing table with.
I love that.
That's
Sage advice.
excellent, Hubert.
Great advice.
Anybody else got thoughts, comments? It's a richer experience when you participate, but we'll keep going. All right. Moving on. this is becoming a thing. 6 ways real estate agents can use AI to become the ultimate authority. Here's where obviously you've got Chat GPT that's starting to become embedded into Command and other CRMs that are writing listing descriptions for you. They're writing ad copies when you're boosting or promoting a listing on Google or Facebook or Instagram. So all this artificial intelligence is actually doing the thinking out of it. Meaning, if I take a listing today and I want to go promote it on Facebook, I'm going to sit there for 10 minutes trying to decide what to type, what hashtags to put, all that stuff. AI is kicking in and saying, cut and paste this, push go. And here's all the language, here's all the hashtags, and it's making it go faster. But I actually think there's another part of AI that's going to show up by probably February. I say show up, it's already here, but it's going to come even faster. And one of the companies is this Adaptive Genie, but Command has an AI chat bot that's built, is being tested right now, that I think they will launch by family reunion. But here's the reality of what that means. So in the past, this is lead generation of today and lead generation of tomorrow. So I could take a listing and promote it on social media, and they call it $1, $2 a lead. I'm going to reframe that to a registration. So Rick, I list your house, I go boost it on social media, and I'm going to get I'm going to put $100 at it and get 75 people that click on it. So I have 75 registrations. In the past, agents would call those people, and 99% of them don't want to they're going to slam the phone down, they're not going to talk to you, they're not really worth anything. But there's a 1% conversion ratio on internet leads that are clickbait kind of stuff. So agents don't like it because they don't want to play the 1% game and go through the 99 no's to find the one yes. Yet it is viable. You could do it today. There's a lot of people that do it. Brivity leads are the same thing. It's just a branded way of calling them Facebook leads. They're all the same boosted ads that create clicks, that create registrations that land in your CRM. Insert AI chatbot. So now if I spend $100 and get 100 registrations, the AI chatbot is going to call all 100, and it's going to go through the 99 that say no and hand me the 4 or 5 that say yes. And then I only am going to contact the 4 or 5. And I was looking for a video to show you guys. Maybe I'll have it next week. But it's crazy what these AI chatbots are doing. People are programming them to talk in a British accent, to male voice, female voice, and the artificial intelligence behind it it'll blow your mind. And I'm just telling you this because I've observed it and we've experienced it. I've told this story before, but I was traveling to Austin for a stakeholder summit, and I rode in the Uber back to the airport with Gene Rawls and Michael Sheaver, and I kind of hopped in the back seat. And because the trunk was full, Jean had put her briefcase underneath this compartment, and we got out of the Uber, and she had left her laptop and everything in the Uber. So what do? We go on the Uber app. There's no phone number. We're chatting with Uber saying, hey, can you call the driver? Can you have him come back, bring us our briefcase? This goes on for 5-10 minutes. That Uber calls the driver returns, the briefcase comes back, and I'm sitting there going, we're not talking to a human being here. We just talked to an AI chat bot online that called a driver and got him to return the lost luggage. And it was all AI chatbot. And the reason I'm telling you this story is your brain right now is going, I don't know that an AI chatbot is going to talk to human beings and be successful. And I'm telling you that they already are, and you don't even realize it. And it's coming to our industry in a really big way next year. I believe the demo I saw in Command, I think is supposed to come out February, March. I know there's other CRMs that actually one other CRM that already has it, Chime. But then there's these third party companies like this Adaptive Genie, which you could hire today if you wanted to get ahead of the curve. But it's nuts. So what if you want to pay $149 a month or just look, new accounts are temporarily on hold in order to onboard new users. This is becoming a thing. Command is going to be included, or you can go third party and hire somebody else. Shoot holes in it. What do you think? Can you imagine an AI chatbot calling people that registered off your website or your Facebook ads and helping you convert them? Has anybody
The first
looked at
thing
it?
I think
Played with
about
it?
is
Yeah. Go ahead, Kat.
I was just gonna say I like to run my business lately more personally, so it kind of takes like the personal aspect out of it. But I guess if you are, just doing this in bulk, just trying, it's just like a numbers game. I could see how it could be beneficial.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to use this with your database. I think you're going to boost your new listings, get registration, and the AI chatbot's going to say, hey, here's 4 people that are pretty excited to talk to you. Go talk to them and then create a warm relationship that way. But I hear you. I mean, there's some limiting belief around it for sure.
It's a great pre-qualifying tool for haven't mets.
Exactly. That's what, not your Mets, not your sphere, but I mean, the reality of this is lead generation over the years changes. I mean, I remember when I got into the business, people used to mail chicken soup for the soul to their database. And then it went through a recipe generation, and you probably wouldn't mail any of that today, right? And then there was the whole email newsletter, and then there's texting, and it's just lead generation always evolves with technology. And this is just the next evolution. YLopo already has a chat bot to nurture the relation. Yeah, YLopo does as well, James. So it's already here, guys. James, do you use it? SyncASI as well, Carlin.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. This is a lot like
Yeah,
checking
it does.
out yourself at Target, or at Walmart, where I remember when they first installed self-checkout, I'm like, this is complete BS. Like, hire people and treat me like a person. And then now I'm like, if it's a short line, I'm checking myself out and I'm happy. Like they've trained us to respond in one day, AI, and you're going to actually probably prefer to talk to your computer because it's more efficient. The problem is it's still not always effective. And there needs to be a bailout button for talk to a person that operates pretty quick, or you're going to get frustrated. And they keep getting better. I mean, at the end of the day, it's process, and they're going to retrain us. So
Well,
you're either on board or you're not, as a practitioner and not just a consumer.
This is I always talk about being learning based, meaning you're subscribing to the fact that you're always learning new things. It doesn't mean you have to make it part of your business today, but one of our goals on this industry update is to sit here and talk about where the industry is going. And this is a big part of where our industry is going right now. So I just wanted to bring it up to talk about. The only other thing that I think is industry worthy right now outside of mortgage rates and AI is the predictions of where 2024 is supposed to land. So if you've read anything, sales dropped 20% from 2021, which was the highest year, down to 22, and then we're projected to finish 20% down from 22 in 23, which is a 40% drop in sales over a 2-year period. Yet the predictions are we're going up 15% in 2024, which I find a really, really positive sign. It's not going to feel like it did in 2021, but it's going to feel much better than it felt this year. And a big part of that is interest rates. I think it's going to spur some movement back towards buying and selling houses and getting people off the wait and see train. And we're pretty excited about it and feel pretty optimistic around 2024 and kind of regaining some ground we lost over the last 2-year economic downturn. But I certainly, anybody hearing anything different, have any questions, have a different perspective? What are you hearing, Rick?
The same thing, that it's not if, it's when, but we're, I think it's going to be a delayed improvement. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think we're 3 to 6 months from really feeling it. I think the net might be a positive for next year, but even if it's flat, we're learning how to operate in the current paradigm. And I think as long as you're lead generating and you've got capacity to convert leads, and, for every 100 people, you land one extra deal a month, it's not going to matter. So it still comes back to a local conversation and story, but the interest rate conversation can only spur and spawn more consumer confidence that it's a safe environment to make quality decisions. And I think at some point, the gap between current interest rates for most homeowners and the desire to move and increase or change their lifestyle will hopefully push us to having more inventory, because that's a big piece of the puzzle that's missing right now, is active inventory on the resale side.
Yeah, if you missed the beginning of the call, it's really low this week. Everybody took their house off the market for Thanksgiving, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's seasonality too.
That's what we said.
Yep, I figured as much.
All right, guys. Happy. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. December is around the corner. Let's finish strong. Houses usually go up in December. People like to buy and sell in the month of December. Go find your unfair share. We love you guys.
Take care.
Bye.